This week on The Real Housewives of Orange County.
Ever speak to you again. You are the most evil person I have ever met. Worse than Alexis Bellino. Worse than Tamra Judge.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to we're going to be recapping the new episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County, Season 19, Episode 3. Let's get right into it. Oh my gosh, you guys, do we have an episode to recap? This was crazy. Okay, so I just gotta start off by saying I love OC. I might even make a radical statement that it might be one of my favorite housewife cities. I really, the drama is shocking. So we got the taglines. I've always said also, by the way, that the tagline music of OC is my favorite. But I didn't really like the taglines. They felt like a parody of Housewives taglines. If y'all listened to them, let me know your thoughts. But it is what it is. Okay, so opening scene is Katie. Listen, I feel like Katie needs to be running the OC at this point, okay? So she meets with Gina at a hair salon where they're going to be doing deep cleanings of their scalps. That sounds satisfying. I actually kind of want one. They go into this little room. Katie's paying for a very expensive treatment because she's trying to make amends. She's bit with her pocket, so that's nice of her. They also do some other things. So Katie's talking to Gina. She says that she feels like she's on an apology tour. She's been saying, I'm sorry to the whole world by now. She says that she's having a good time right now, though, and she's glad that Emily didn't sneak over here like last time. Katie says that she did reach out to Shannon. She apologized profusely. Gina thinks that Shannon will get over it. Speaking of which, Tamra goes over to Emily's house. They're talking about the day before, which was Katie's hot pot lunch. Tamra says that clearly Gretchen hasn't moved on all these years. But here's the thing, Tamra loves to throw the rock and hide her hand because she wants to sit here and say Gretchen hasn't moved on, but Tamra spoke about Slade and the situation with his son not too long ago. Tamra keeps bringing up that Gretchen reached out to her daughter. That's not exactly how that went, okay? The daughter posted something on Facebook, which is a public platform, and Gretchen commented under that post. And by the way, why do we just keep skipping over the fact that your daughter doesn't like you because of how you behave? Like, that is crazy. Your own daughter? Wow. Also, Tamara is trying to act like she did nothing when it comes to Jen. She thinks that it's unfair that Jen keeps coming for her, and she says that Ryan and Jen keep baiting her. Like, at this point, it's too much. They are talking about suing her, which they should sue you at some point. You know, your mouth was reckless last season, woman, when it came to them. Suing you would be the least thing that, like, the least they would be, like, they should do. Like, come on, you gotta have some consequences for your actions. You didn't learn from the lawsuit from Jim Bellino to know when to keep your mouth shut? We also see another meetup with Heather, Jen, and Shannon. Shannon mentions the apology message that she got from Katie. She says the apology included a but. It says, yes, I did record you, but no one heard it. Shannon says, I don't give an F because I know others did hear it. So Heather says, can I tell you something? After this was brought up, I called Alexis and she confirmed she heard it. The thing is, though, Jen is adamant that she wasn't there, but I think she was. They say Jen is very forgetful. But I heard Alexis on Carlos King's podcast. It might have been last week. And she said that, yeah, there was a little lunch they had where it was her, Jen, and Katie. So Jen was definitely there. I don't know why Jen keeps saying she wasn't, but she was. And yeah, Katie showed them the recording. But the bottom line is Shannon says there's no coming back from what Katie did. Heather also adds to that, and she says that Katie has crossed too many lines. Jen says, but so has Tamra. But you keep giving her grace. Why? Are you safer doing that? Heather's like, no, I'm not scared of Tamra. Heather, though, she's going to be throwing a party for her birthday, even though her birthday was a while ago. But, like, why not have a party? But the problem is Heather is telling Jen that when she invited Tamra told her that she could not be at the party if Ryan was going to be there because Tamra's attorney told her not to go anywhere near him. So Heather is saying to Jen, I want her to come. I'm not telling you to not bring Ryan, but I don't know how to handle this. Jen says, then you're choosing Tamra. That's my husband who's done nothing wrong. I had to sit there and argue that my kids were living in a safe house that wasn't raided by the FBI. I had to pay so many attorney fees that I can't afford because your effing friend said that we were raided by the FBI. If she doesn't want to come, then F her. She was so distraught. They told her to lower it because there were a lot of people listening, but she just couldn't control it anymore. She says to Heather, why do you side with her? Why do you keep lowering yourself? So of course here goes Fancy Pants, holier than thou. And are you not lowering yourself hanging out with someone who records someone else? Heather, shut up. In what world is that the same thing? In the words of Gretchen last episode, it's not the same thing. Tamara has terrorized many of these women on the show, including Jen. Don't compare that to Katie. Then we see a scene with Katie. We see her son. Last season, we didn't get to see him. He was the one that was living in San Diego for school, and he would go to Orange County on the weekends. But now he's in his senior year, but he's going to school in OC, so he's there full time. So that's good. Katie mentions that her other son, the one that lives in Georgia, actually brought up the idea of maybe living here. Katie really took it from those vultures known as Emily and Heather at the reunion about her son living in another state. They questioned her if she was pretty much a good mother. But every time Katie talks about her custody and all of that, I can see so much pain and sadness. You can tell that it's been very difficult and hard. That's why I get so mad when I remember the stuff Emily said at the reunion. So, what? I don't really care that Katie was recording Crazy Shannon. That's not the same as what Emily did. What she tried to imply, that was malicious. So in the next scene, there is a triple date. Emily, Shane, Gina, Travis, Shannon, and Adam. Adam was one of the men from Love Hotel that Shannon eliminated over Earl. Listen, if Adam and her are friends, that's good. He can keep her little company. But the last thing Shannon Beador needs is a relationship. She's just not stable enough for that. So they do bowling. Gina is asking a lot of questions to Adam, which is good. She doesn't want a John Jensen 2.0. They were asking some very valid, solid questions. Emily asks if they're all going to Heather's party. And Shannon's like, yeah, but I heard Katie's going to be there. And then Emily's like, well, I'll be in the opposite side of wherever she is. So it's clear that they're trying to ice Katie out. We then see a scene with Jen and Ryan. They talk to their little kid who got in trouble for talking too much in PE. That would have been me when I was in school. They also talk to Jen, one of her sons, Dawson. Dawson is going to join the Marines. That's definitely a big decision. So they talk about that. Jen's a little worried, which is understandable. I love seeing the dynamic of their family. I think there's a lot of love. I think Ryan, based on what we've seen, he looks like he's a very good stepdad. They do have a serious conversation with Dawson also because he co-signed a loan for one of Jen's other sons with Jen's ex-husband, their dad, for USC, by the way, which is ridiculously expensive. So that could be bad. Hopefully it doesn't affect him. Moving right along to Tamra and Heather. They meet up for lunch. Heather says to Tamra, you look very calm. Tamra says that she's on a really rough journey with therapy and everything Teddy Mellencamp is going through. She says that she's going through so much, thinking about the past and everything that's happened. Heather says, I'm so proud of you. I see you are very different. Heather, girl. Heather says, I told Jen that I didn't understand why they aren't giving you grace. I really got the sense that Gretchen joining is turning it, they're turning this into a Tamara bashing. I really do want you at my party. I talked to Jen about you and Ryan and not being able to be at the same place, but she didn't really take it well. So then Tamara says, well, he shouldn't come. That's all he there's no need for him to be there. You don't have any relationship with him. And then Heather's like, I know, but like I told everyone else to bring their significant others. So like, you know. And then Tamara says, well, I do know that Eddie will not come. And I'm like, okay, Tamara, that's fine. We will be okay without you or Eddie. Like, who are y'all? But listen, I do believe that Tamara could be going through a hard time with what she's going through, with what her friend is going through. I don't want to take away from that, of course. But what we're not going to do is use this as an excuse for all the things you've done. Okay? All right, so it's the day of Heather's party. The funny thing is, Ryan got knee surgery yesterday, so he probably could... He might have not even been able to go anyway, but Jen fought so hard for him that now he has to go. So we see everyone else getting ready. Shannon is taking Phil as her date. We also saw him from Bravo's Love Hotel. He was Giselle's love interest. But that's nice that at least she's made some good friendships from the show. Listen, I can't stand Heather Dubrow, but if it's one thing she can do, it's throw a party. Now, these are the parties that we need to be seeing on reality TV. I can't imagine how much she must have spent. Very fancy. There's a woman inside this huge life-size martini glass serving drinks. Everybody looked good. They dressed very luxurious. But I gotta give it to Katie and Jen. I mean, they looked hot. They looked so good. As soon as Shannon walks in with Phil, Shannon says to Phil, Katie needs to stay away from me. Heather also had this thing where people could like take shots and then you throw the little shot glass into this big thing to smash it. The venue looked very nice. It looked like Hollywood royalty meets Catholic church aesthetics. It was really nice. So everybody's hanging out, eating, drinking, talking, and whatnot. Shannon is going around telling anyone who's willing to listen that Katie recorded her. Also, Katie is not very happy with Tamra because she's starting to realize that every time anything comes up with her, it's because Tamra throws her under the bus, which I'm glad she's finally realizing this, because if we're going to keep it 100, if all the drama with Katie's daughter Kylie and Emily and her son and all this, it really all stemmed because Tamra went running to Emily telling her what Katie told her. Also, I don't think I needed to know this, but Gretchen said that she broke Slate's penis. That sounds painful to even think about, and it's too much information. I don't know. I can't even think about it. Heather checks in with Katie, asks her how she's doing and if she's going to talk to Shannon. Shannon sees this and she's mad. Time goes by and Katie finally makes her way to Shannon. Like, she's got to talk to her. So Katie says to Shannon, as soon as she sits down, I'm very, very, very sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. I have no excuse. Shannon says, you know what, Katie? You sent me a text full of excuses. What you did was illegal. I almost lost it when she said that, because you know Shannon believes this. Anyway, she says, I expect my privacy. The day you taped me, I was already upset. And Katie's like, I don't know what you were screaming about, but I was on speakerphone. You had just shown up. And then Shannon's like, yeah, but how is that any of your business? Katie says, well, it was a business call that I had to hang up on because of you. Shannon's like, then you should have taken it outside. The fact that you're defending what you did, nothing you say ever adds up. And Shannon had her finger up in the air and everything. She says, nobody has ever recorded me behind my back. That you know of, Shannon. That you know of. Katie keeps saying, Alexis never heard it. Which, Katie, I love you, but stop saying that, because she did. Alexis heard it. Just own up to it, because that leads Shannon to say, oh my gosh, I am worried about your mental state. You sat with me last year when we found out John and Alexis had videos about me, and you decided, knowing all of that, to still video record me. No apology will ever measure to how much you violated me. I now put you in the same category as John Jensen. So that's when Katie's like, really? Like, did I sue you for $75,000? Like, that's not equal, Shannon. Shannon says, you recorded me. I went through hell. You are in the same category. So that's when Katie's like, I am not responsible for what Alexis and John did to you. Shannon then is getting so hysterical. She gets up and she says, let me make this clear, Katie Janella. I will never, ever speak to you again. You are the most evil person I have ever met. The fact that you've done this, so everybody at this point is like going near them, and Shannon says to them, this girl is worse than Alexis Bellino, worse than Tamra Judge. And that was the end of the episode. Okay, let's talk about this. Because what the hell? Okay, so a few things. Shannon is overreacting like she always does. Like, it's not that serious. By the way, Shannon, listen, when it comes to Shannon, I'm always going to have a soft spot for her, as I think a lot of people do, only because she's gone through such hard times on the show. And I feel like we've all been on the journey with her, with David, with John, and all of this. So, we've seen this. So I do have a soft spot when it comes to most of that. But at the same time, Shannon, I don't really understand, like, is that really the worst thing ever? Not to be rude or anything, but the cameras record you acting like a crazy person, having meltdowns every season, Shannon. Like, they record you, right? Also, are you serious? You're saying that she's worse than Alexis? Alexis, who you were screaming and crying about last season because she initiated the lawsuit against you and she stole your ex-boyfriend, she took your trainer, she was going around talking bad about you, and worse than Tamra Judge, who last season all she did was scream at your face about how much of an alcoholic you were. You're a terrible person. You need to go to rehab. You're a bad friend. She's complained about having to put up with you. I mean, come on, Shannon Beador. Like, we've seen on the show, Vicki Gunvalson told us that your husband used to beat you. Tamra Judge has backstabbed you time and time again. Kelly Dodd has called you a pig and told you to keep eating. And, I mean, you've forgiven all of them. So the fact that Shannon is just acting like Katie, I don't know, you guys. You would think Katie did, like, the most unforgivable sin imaginable. Shannon, you need to get over it. You're acting like a damn fool. And I am Team Katie. I don't care what nobody says. But y'all let me know what your thoughts were about this episode. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll catch y'all next time. Y'all have a great one. Bye.